There's a lot of awareness now with masculine and feminine energies, and particularly women saying they want to be more in their feminine with men because being a boss babe isn't always what it's cracked up to be. Now, while the feminine is one that is warm, that submits to masculine leadership, that trusts in her intuition and feminine power, there are very much standards this kind of woman holds with the man that she wants and the man that she chooses. Many men say that a modern woman's standards are too high, which is why she can't find the man that she wants nowadays. And the more accurate assessment, at least what I believe, is that her standards aren't too high, they're just in the wrong areas. A feminine woman has high standards, but in the right areas, because that's how she attracts and keeps her man. And so we're going to go through 4 things feminine women never tolerate from a man, which maintains a positive and healthy dynamic for their relationship to thrive. Number 1, a lack of courage. This kind of woman knows that it is important for her to choose a man who has courage. Courage to do the difficult thing because it's the right thing. This is why one of the biggest turn-offs for this kind of woman is a yes man. There's nothing that screams a lack of courage than a yes man. And this man, she could never choose. Having someone who says yes to you all the time and always goes along with what you want might sound good on paper, but what this ultimately says about this kind of man is that he lacks the courage to say no. Someone who can't say no can't stand up for themselves. And if he can't stand up to you as a woman, how can he stand up for you as his woman, for your relationship or for your future family for that matter? Now, I get it. You might be thinking, okay, but what if he's just a little bit worried about the reaction and he's not prepared for it? What if he's a little scared on how you or someone else might respond to his contention? Don't get me wrong. That's not saying that a man can never be scared. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Bravery and courage isn't the man who's not afraid of anything. It's the man who acts despite being afraid. That's what it means to have courage. And a man with a sense of morals, ethics, and importantly, self-respect will choose to have courage. For a feminine woman, this quality in a man is non-negotiable. Next thing a feminine woman doesn't tolerate is a lack of sense of duty. Duty to his family, duty to his woman, and duty to himself. One of my clips gained a lot of attention recently because in the episode we're talking about marriage and what does it mean and why do almost half of marriages fail today? I believe marriages today don't work is because people get married for love. Marriage has always traditionally been about duty. Now, of course, that's not saying that you shouldn't have love within your marriage, but the truth is, if we're going to be with somebody for longer than a decade, our love for them is going to fluctuate. Now, I know this doesn't pertain to the fairy tale idea of what marriage is from the love, drama shows, and romantic films that we've watched, but this isn't a film. This is real life. And in real life, for a marriage that would ideally stand the test of time, your love for them will fluctuate, and theirs for you too. You can go up one year, then go down. You can be absolutely in love with them one moment and you can't stand being around them the next, then go back to really appreciating them again. But it is through duty that supports and carries the relationship or marriage through those harder times. What's happening nowadays is people get married and then at some point they feel they've fallen out of love with their partner and they go, oh well, this marriage isn't for me anymore because I don't love my partner. But marriage is about duty. But we've been sold this whole thing of love through fairy tales that we've watched growing up. And I put my hands up. I've watched them too. But happiness isn't a constant state. It's an emotion. You can't be happy all the time because life is going to hit you in the face at times. That's just part of it. But when we focus on contentment and duty, this is what encourages us to do the right thing by our relationships and by ourselves. A man with no sense of duty or responsibility can't be trusted to lead the relationship. Next thing a woman expects is the truth. A feminine woman doesn't pretend that the world is roses and rainbows. If she did, how could she support and serve her man with the very real realities of life? Now, it is true that as men, sometimes we don't disclose absolutely everything to our woman. It could be to protect her feelings, to protect her ego, or to protect her from stress. She doesn't need to know everything under the sun. But what she recognizes that there are some things men don't openly share to protect her in certain ways, perhaps. She knows that if she asks, he will tell her the truth. That's the level of trust and integrity that they have between them. Now, I must give fair warning if you are a woman watching this. While I don't condone lying, many men have experienced telling a woman the truth she asked for directly and unfiltered like she wanted, and she has responded very negatively towards him telling her. And so because we know men like peace and like to keep the peace, this can make him not tell the truth. Now, with a man who has a sense of duty and integrity, he will tell you the truth if that's what you ask for, but he will have little sympathy for the woman who asks for the truth but can't handle receiving it. So understand, there's a responsibility on your part to not ask the questions you don't really want the answers to. Like they say, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you ask for. It's okay to be disappointed at the answer, but don't shoot the messenger. Next thing a feminine woman doesn't tolerate is a lack of emotional investment. Women of value understand men, and she understands herself. She understands from men that sex isn't how guys show their investment in a woman, it's through his emotional time with her. She also understands about herself that in order to have sex with a man that she wants, there's an element of closeness and connection that's important for her to share herself with him. Men need sex to feel loved, and women need to feel loved to have sex. And so while she gets that if she has her eyes set on a man of value, she is with a man who has drive and ambition, he may not have all the time in the world to give to her, but a man who's serious will make time for her, plan time for her. She doesn't accept him being too busy for 2 or more weeks. That's why he can't spend time with her. Now, she doesn't demand his time. She knows it has to be willingly given, but she does have a standard of how she chooses to give herself based on how much of a connection she is feeling with him, as she knows that's the foundation for the relationship. So the question is, are you ready to invite a great guy into your life? Because if you are, then you need to get my Claim It Man program in the link below. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep it simple.